kind of maybe explain a little bit about the title. Why did you choose that?
So let me tell you what the process was for me. So first was I had a tumor, and there was going to be an outpatient surgery to remove the tumor, and literally no stitches, no anything. You know, what they can do in a surgery room is amazing. And so they did that, and it was determined, the doctor used the phrase that I had cancer that was angry and aggressive. Again, those weren't words that worked for me, so I decided to refer to it as ambitious and outgoing. So because it was ambitious and outgoing, I needed to have a radical surgery. And in that radical surgery, because of where the bladder is located, it is literally surrounded by all the lady parts. And so the radical surgery was to remove the bladder, remove all the lady parts, to remove 20 lymph nodes, and then repurpose some stuff. And so they took a portion of my large intestine and literally sewed it into a new thing, and I have an internal reservoir made out of large intestine. Wow. That is attached to my kidneys. And then they took a portion of small intestine and attached the reservoir to my abdomen using the small intestine. So I have what I call my spare belly button. And what I do is 4 or 5 times a day I take an 18-inch catheter and I slide that into my new reservoir, and that's how I drain my bodily fluid. Wow. So I refer to myself as bionic. My parts aren't like your parts, and for me it was, in the beginning that was really difficult because doing the whole catheter thing really grossed me out. And I realized that I was staying closer and closer to home, and that I wasn't comfortable going out. And I realized that one of the things I had to do is I had to plan something so fun that I wouldn't back out. And so I planned a trip to New York City with 2 girlfriends, and we did that. And so I managed to do the whole catheterizing thing on the plane, on Broadway, just all over New York. I was doing my thing, and I thought, okay, I can conquer anything. So, and then the plus side to that is, now let's go really big. So on my 1-year anniversary, I celebrated it in Paris. Wow. And managed to Paris and Rome and Spain doing my whole catheter thing. So that was a big deal. Decided not to let that slow me down. But even that process took some mind, I had to trick myself, I guess is the best way to put it, into seeing it in a different perspective. So I want to talk to you about acceptance and the process that we all go through. You losing your mom, me with the potential of where cancer could have possibly taken me, and realizing that when it comes to loss and sorrow, that we all go through the same 5 stages of grief. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was, again, I was at a time in my business where I had a lot to do. And this is, okay, if I survive this, I still need to have an income. So this was my time frame in which I was going to do that. So I couldn't let it slow me down. So what I like to call it, is I microwaved my way through the grief process. So I zipped right through all the grief stages and went as quickly to acceptance as I could. Wow. So when I was writing the book, my intention was just to pass on some suggestions to other people who are going through not just cancer, but other struggles and losses in life. And cancer is only one of those things, and the loss of a spouse or a parent or a child is another. But we also do things like we lose jobs and we lose money. And clearly in your industry, you've seen hundreds of people losing their houses, right, and that kind of thing. So what I discovered is if I would sit down and be very intentional with all 5 stages of grief and think my way through each one of those things, then I could fast forward to acceptance much quicker. So I did. I'm like, the first step is denial. Okay, no, this can't possibly be, and literally just zipped through them as quickly as I could and did, okay, I have cancer. Now let's get back to work.